Lagos State was buzzing with news, and it seemed like everyone was talking about the same thing. It was a sunny Friday afternoon when the letter arrived at all the boarding schools. This wasn't just any letter. It was an important one, signed by a man named Mr. Olufemi Aselu, who worked in the Lagos State Ministry of Education. He had some big news to share. The letter explained that the boarding fees in Lagos had changed. In the past, parents only had to pay 35,000 naira for their children to stay at the school. But now, the fee had been raised to 100,000 naira per term. Imagine that. Parents who were already planning for the new school year had to quickly adjust their minds to this new price. Mr. Aselu, who was given instructions by the Honorable Commissioner of Education, made it very clear in the letter that this was the only fee the schools could ask for. There would be no hidden fees or extra costs. 100,000 naira only, the letter said. It was meant to cover everything the students needed while they were away from home. The news spread fast. Some parents sighed heavily, wondering how they would pay this new fee. Others knew it was important to give their children the best education, even if it meant tightening their belts at home. Children in the boarding schools also heard about the new fees, and many of them felt anxious. What if their parents couldn't afford to keep them in school anymore? Would they have to leave their friends behind? But the letter wasn't only about money. It also included another important update. The resumption date for the next term had been moved. Instead of the usual date, schools were now to open on September 15, 2024. This gave parents a bit more time to prepare for the higher fees, but it also meant that some students who were excited to return had to wait a little longer. The day the letter was sent out, it seemed like the whole of Lagos was buzzing with emotions. Some people were worried, some were hopeful, and everyone was talking about the changes coming to boarding schools. Parents sat down with their children, trying to explain what it all meant. Teachers in the boarding schools wondered how this change would affect their students. As the sun set that evening, and Lagos began to quiet down, one thing was clear: the journey ahead for many families had just gotten a little tougher. But with the promise of a good education, most were determined to find a way to make it work. For the students, as they thought about the new term ahead, their minds were filled with both excitement and worry. The future was uncertain, but one thing was for sure: they would face it together, just like they always had.